There are moments when life feels like a door has closed forever, when the path ahead looks hidden, and the weight of uncertainty presses heavy on the heart. Yet, in Shaolin philosophy, such moments are not accidents. They are signals. Signals that a greater decision has already been made, long before our doubts and fears ever arose. The ancients of my lineage often said, "The river does not ask permission before it flows." This is the essence of destiny. God's decision is like this river. When we fight against its current, we suffer. When we learn to move with its flow, clarity begins to open and the impossible starts to feel lighter, as if unseen hands are already guiding us. In this teaching, I will take you deeper into the weight of divine decision. You will discover why being chosen is not about pride or position. It is about carrying a discipline that very few are willing to accept. We will speak of stillness before action, of trusting what cannot yet be seen, and of the invisible help that has already arrived in your life, though you may not have recognized it yet. Stay until the end, because this is not only philosophy, it is practice. By the closing of this reflection, you will understand how to walk forward when the path feels uncertain, how to balance surrender with effort, and why September 16th is more than just a date. It is a threshold. A reminder that destiny is unfolding now, in this very breath. I welcome you to Shaolin Soulfire. If these words already touch something within you, then join our path by subscribing. The journey we walk together is one of strength, awareness, and unshakable faith. There's a moment in every seeker's life when the question arises, why me? The answer is not found in glory, nor in the desire to stand above others. In the Shaolin way, to be chosen is not a title, it is an awakening. It is the quiet realization that you cannot return to sleep once the eyes of your spirit have opened. Long ago, one of my teachers told me the chosen one is not carried on a throne. He carries the weight of the world on his back with dignity. These words stayed with me. To awaken is to step into responsibility. It is to walk with awareness, even when the world prefers blindness. It is to maintain discipline, even when others surrender to ease. The Shaolin path teaches that mastery begins with the smallest act, how you breathe, how you rise from the ground, how you place your foot on the earth. Each step is training, each breath a reminder. This is the discipline of the chosen to live consciously, not only in great battles but in the silence of daily life. Awareness is the flame that lights this path. When you are chosen, you begin to see the patterns of cause and effect. You see how anger poisons, how greed consumes, how fear blinds. And because you see, you can no longer pretend. That is the burden and the gift. And there is service. To awaken is to understand that strength is not only for yourself. Like a monk guarding the temple gates, you hold the responsibility of protecting others, guiding them when they stumble, offering them stillness when chaos rises. The chosen one does not rule, he serves. And in service, he finds the true power that cannot be taken away. There is a story told in the Shaolin halls of a young monk who prayed each night for help. He asked for strength, for wisdom, for courage to overcome the struggles of his path. One evening, after weeks of silence, his master placed a single bowl of water in front of him and said, "Look closely." The monk stared and saw only his own reflection. The master whispered, "The answer you seek has been here all along. Calm the water and you will see clearly." Mindfulness is this clear water. Help is not waiting in some distant place. It is present, hidden beneath the turbulence of thought. Every breath carries guidance. Every moment of awareness opens a door. When the mind is restless, even blessings are overlooked. When the mind is still, what was once invisible stands before you like an old friend. Discipline sharpens this realization. The Shaolin way is not only to meditate on a cushion, but to bring mindfulness into each action, how one walks, eats, or even lifts a cup of tea. In these simple acts, answers appear. The hand that learns to move with intention becomes the same hand that holds balance in moments of chaos. Ancient wisdom reminds us that external help is fleeting. A teacher can point the way, a companion can offer support, but if the inner ground is not steady, every gift slips through the fingers. True help has already arrived in the breath that steadies the body, in the awareness that clears the fog, in the stillness that gives rise to courage. When one understands this, the search outside begins to soften. The chosen path no longer feels heavy with waiting, but alive with presence. For within the calm, the answer is already here. In the training courtyards of Shaolin, there is a lesson that every disciple learns before the fist is ever clenched. It is the lesson of stillness. A young monk, eager to prove his strength, once rushed into every movement, his strikes fierce but uncontrolled. His master watched silently, then placed a single candle before him. "Strike the flame," he commanded. The monk's hand moved too quickly, and the candle fell. The master shook his head and said, "You cannot master the flame until you master your breath." Stillness before action is the hidden foundation of strength. It is the pause that gathers the mind, the breath that steadies the body, the awareness that sharpens the strike. Without it, even great power is wasted, scattered like arrows shot into the dark. With it, the smallest movement carries weight, precision, and inevitability. This principle is not only for combat, it is for life itself. When storms rise in the heart, when anger or fear pulls at the mind, the instinct is to react, to strike too quickly. But the Shaolin way reminds us that stillness is not weakness, it is mastery. To breathe before speaking is to guard harmony. To pause before deciding is to honor clarity. To wait for the right moment is to align with the natural rhythm of life. Discipline is what makes this stillness possible. The monk who trains his breath trains his destiny. The one who can stand unmoved in silence carries a strength greater than 10,000 restless movements. Stillness does not delay action, it perfects it. And when the time comes, the strike, the step, or the word flows with a power that no force can resist. There is an old saying in the Chan tradition, "The path is revealed only as your feet touch the ground." It speaks to a truth that many resist, that clarity does not always come before the journey begins. Often the road ahead is hidden by mist, and only through trust does each step become visible. Taoist masters compared life to walking through a forest at night. You cannot see the entire way, yet the small circle of light before you is enough. In the same way, God's support rarely arrives with loud signs or immediate answers. More often it comes disguised as silence, as waiting, or as the very difficulty we wish would disappear. For the disciplined mind, delay is not a punishment, but a teacher. The Shaolin path teaches patience through countless hours of repetition, stances held until the legs tremble, movements repeated until they become one with the breath. The disciple may feel abandoned in the silence of training, yet it is in this silence that hidden strength is formed. Trusting the invisible path is an act of surrender, but not of passivity. It is the courage to walk without seeing the destination, while still carrying discipline, awareness, and faith. Obstacles on this path are not meant to break you, they are the shaping stones of inner mastery. Each challenge strengthens resolve, each delay deepens humility, each silence sharpens listening. When the chosen one accepts this, the unseen becomes less threatening. The mist no longer hides danger, but protects the mystery of unfolding destiny. To trust the invisible path is to accept that support is already present, even when it wears the mask of struggle. In this way, every step becomes both a test and a blessing. A master once told his disciples, "When you drink tea, only drink tea." At first they laughed, thinking the words were too simple, yet over time they discovered the depth hidden inside. To be present with the tea meant no wandering thoughts, no rushing, no distractions, only the warmth of the cup, the rising steam, and the taste upon the tongue. This is the discipline of presence. Shaolin training carries this same lesson into every act. A stance is not held halfway, it is held with the full weight of the body and the full attention of the mind. A punch is not thrown carelessly, it is delivered with intention, breath, and awareness. In this way, no movement is wasted, no energy is scattered. Presence becomes a form of alignment, where body, mind, and spirit move as one. This discipline requires more than focus. It requires devotion to live fully in each moment. means refusing the temptation to drift into regret of the past or fear of the future. It means understanding that the divine reveals itself here, in the smallest details, the sound of footsteps, the rhythm of breathing, the stillness between heartbeats. Presence is strength. A mind divided is weak, pulled in many directions. A mind rooted in the now is unshakable, like a mountain unmoved by wind. In the chaos of life, presence allows clarity. In conflict, it gives precision. In silence, it gives peace. To walk with presence is to recognize that each moment is sacred, no matter how ordinary it may appear. When practiced with discipline, presence transforms life itself into meditation, and every step upon the earth becomes a step in harmony with the divine. A story is told of a monk who trained endlessly, his body hardened by effort, his mind consumed with discipline. Yet despite his skill, his spirit grew heavy and nothing felt complete. One evening, his master placed a leaf on the surface of a stream. "See how it floats," he said. "The leaf does not fight the water, yet it moves farther than all your strength could carry it." The monk understood then that mastery was not effort alone. It was the harmony between effort and surrender. Personal mastery is like this dance. Effort without surrender becomes rigid, like a bow pulled too tightly until it snaps. Surrender without effort drifts into weakness, like a boat without a rudder lost in the waves. True strength lies in balance, knowing when to press forward with discipline and when to release into trust. In Shaolin practice, this balance is everywhere. Muscles are trained until they ache, yet each session ends in stillness, letting go of tension through the breath. The body is forged like steel, but the mind learns to soften like water. Too much control would shatter the spirit. Too much surrender would waste the training. Together they create harmony. Ancient wisdom teaches that effort is the seed, but surrender is the soil. One cannot grow without the other. Discipline shapes the path, but faith gives it life. The chosen one learns this truth, that pushing endlessly does not bring peace, and waiting endlessly does not bring change. Balance is the key. To walk this path is to breathe with both strength and softness, to act with focus, yet rest in trust. It is here, in this delicate dance, that the soul discovers freedom and the warrior finds peace. In the old Shaolin scrolls it is written, "The fiercest enemy is not across the battlefield but within the heart." These words remind us that no matter how great the outer struggle appears, the true fight begins in silence, unseen by the world. Fear, doubt, and impatience, they are shadows that rise within, shaping how we see and how we act. Until these shadows are faced, victory outside remains incomplete. A young disciple once asked his master why he failed in combat despite his training. The master handed him a cup filled to the brim with water and said, "Strike without spilling." The disciple hesitated, paralyzed by fear of failure, and the water spilled before he even moved. The master smiled softly. "Your enemy was never the cup, it was the fear in your own hand." God's final decision calls the chosen one not to rush outward, but to turn inward. The path of mastery begins with self-conquest. To face fear with courage, to meet doubt with faith, to quiet impatience with stillness. This is the training of the inner warrior. The outer battles of life may come and go, but the inner war must be won again and again. Discipline is the weapon here. Breath steadies fear. Awareness cuts through doubt. Patience dissolves the restless pull of time. Each act of mastery within creates strength that no external force can shake. The chosen one understands that the true victory is not in defeating others, but in ruling the self. When the heart is steady, when the mind is clear, when the spirit is unshaken, then no outer storm can destroy the path. The inner warrior leads, and the outer struggle bows in silence. In a quiet Shaolin courtyard, a master once watched as a student struck with great force, defeating every opponent in practice. The student bowed proudly, expecting praise. The master shook his head and said, "True strength is not measured by how hard you strike, but by how gently you can hold the world." These words puzzled the young disciple until he witnessed the master helping an injured bird back to its nest with careful hands and calm patience. Compassion is the hidden power of the warrior. In Shaolin wisdom, It is not weakness, but a force that transforms every encounter. To act with compassion requires control, awareness, and presence, the very qualities that discipline builds. A compassionate act is deliberate, intentional, and rooted in mastery, not emotion alone. It is strength expressed in stillness, clarity, and patience. Being chosen carries a deeper responsibility. It is not enough to perfect oneself. The chosen one must carry the weight of others, offering guidance, protection, and understanding. Every act of service becomes an extension of inner mastery. Compassion does not diminish power, it magnifies it. A single calm gesture can dissolve conflict, heal tension, and turn hostility into harmony. Ancient teachings remind us that the heart of the warrior is not hardened by cruelty, but expanded by empathy. When fear or anger arises, the one who has cultivated compassion acts with discernment, not reaction. Each decision becomes a reflection of inner balance, a proof that true power lies in restraint and care. The path of mastery is therefore incomplete without compassion. To be strong is to serve, to be disciplined is to heal, and to walk with awareness is to protect. In this, the chosen one becomes a force that does not dominate, but uplifts. The power of the heart, guided by discipline, shapes destiny far beyond the reach of the fist. Long ago, sages marked certain days not by the passage of the sun alone, but by the turning of energy, the opening of thresholds. September 16th carries this energy, a quiet invitation to step fully into the unfolding of destiny. In Shaolin practice, dates are more than numbers. They are reminders, anchors, signals from the universe, guiding the mind to presence, the body to discipline, and the spirit to readiness. A student once arrived at the temple carrying worry about the future. He asked the master when the time would be right for change. The master led him to the garden, pointing to the small buds just beginning to bloom. "The flower does not wait for tomorrow," he said. "It unfolds now, and so must you." This day, like the blooming bud, is a threshold. It is not a promise of sudden fortune or dramatic events, but a subtle call to alignment. Every breath, every step, every action taken in awareness carries the power of divine timing. God's decision is not distant. It is woven into each disciplined gesture, each mindful choice, each act of patience and courage. Thresholds are also tests. They ask whether one will remain present, whether one can balance effort and surrender, whether inner mastery can guide outward action. September 16th is a mirror. It shows what has been cultivated and what still requires attention. It reminds the chosen one that destiny does not wait, and neither does opportunity. By walking through this day consciously, one honors both effort and faith. The ordinary becomes sacred, the routine becomes practice, and the present becomes a gateway. This threshold is not simply a date on the calendar. It is a living moment, an invitation to move with clarity, discipline, and trust, stepping fully into the path that has already been prepared. On this night, understand that being chosen is not a label, but a way of living. God's decision is unwavering, and help has already arrived, quietly present in every breath, every moment of stillness. Through discipline, awareness, trust, and compassion, the chosen one moves forward with calm strength, grounded in inner mastery. Let this teaching guide your day-to-day life. Pause when the mind races, act with intention when challenges arise, and extend kindness even in small ways. Each step you take in presence is a step toward clarity, balance, and harmony. Carry this awareness gently with you. Let it shape your choices, soften your reactions, and deepen your connection to the world around you. Peace grows not in haste, but in patience and mindful action. If these reflections resonate, join us on this path by liking this video and subscribing to Shaolin Soulfire. Walk the path of presence and let each day become a quiet practice of mastery, strength, and inner peace.